And hello, everyone. We are live right now. I'm assuming we will have more people joining every second, every minute. So while that is happening, I'll just take a moment to introduce myself and this whole event. Welcome to Evol.X and BeeIT Customer Experience Talks, the first one in 2025. And of course, because it's the first one, it had to be about trends. Us in marketing, especially in B2B, we have to take the wave of New Year and talk about trends. And then, I hear my colleagues, oh, not a lot of the stuff are going to change. Well, it depends on the perspective, right? E-commerce is a huge industry, fast industry, a dynamic industry, and actually things are changing pretty fast. So I'm happy we are talking about upcoming trends in 2025, especially with a buzzword that is, of course, AI. Yes, we see it a lot, we hear it a lot, but that's because it's everywhere and it's an important part of any digital industry. So I'm very happy we're talking about this today, especially because I have fantastic guests. So thank you again to my dear guests for accepting to be here today. To everyone who are joining us at the moment, my name is Theodora. I'm a head of marketing at BeeIT, and I've been with BeeIT for the past 2 years. This event is special, not only because it's the first one in 2025, but because it's my first one after a while. I've been on mat leave too, so it's really special for me, and thank you everyone again for joining. Before we continue, I love to ask everyone that are joining us, where are you guys located? So we will see people who are joining us commenting on LinkedIn. Don't be afraid to comment. Go ahead, because we love the interaction. We love the engagement. So please, if you are wherever you're located, let us know. I'm tuning in from Serbia, from Novi Sad, as well as my colleague Nikola. Hello. Whoever is joining us, let us know where you're located. We would love to see it in the comments. And I will give the first word to Michael, who is joining us from Evol.X. Michael, welcome to the event. Please let us know where from are you tuning in, and please let us know a little bit about yourself. Here we have people tuning in from Vienna. So hello, Vienna. Hello, Switzerland. And Michael, please go ahead.
Well, thank you very much. So thanks for having me. My name is Michael. I'm the head of artificial intelligence for a company called Evol.X. We are located in Vienna. I'm not in Vienna right now. I'm living in the southern part of Austria, very close to the Slovenian border. So that's where I'm calling in from. I've been working with data for over 35 years, and 25 years of those intensively in the field of artificial intelligence.
Perfect. Thank you for introducing yourself. Vlad, please go ahead.
Yeah, of course. Good to be here again. I really enjoy doing the webinars with you guys, with BeeIT. I'm Vlad. I'm with Salesforce for about 4 years. Actually, I've celebrated 4 years last week. So it's been, thank you so much. It's been a very, I don't know, time flies when you're having fun. I've got an experience about 10 years in retail, so I don't see myself working necessarily outside of this field. I love e-commerce in particular. I'm connecting from Spain right now, somewhere south of Alicante. The weather is, I would say, is a bit gloomy, but I hope it gets better later on. So good to be here.
Thank you, Vlad. It has to get better in Spain. And even if it's gloomy, it's in Spain. So who cares, Thank you again. And Nikola, please go ahead.
Hi, guys. It's a pleasure to be here with you. I'm Nikola, co-founder of BeeIT. More than 15 years in the industry, and currently we celebrated 8th birthday of BeeIT a few days ago. So something from our side as well. So anniversary here. I wanted to mention that for you, Theodora, that you mentioned AI is important part. I think it's going to be integral part of pretty much in the near future. So let's see where that is.
Yes, thank you, Nikola, for the introduction and for mentioning BeeIT birthday. It is huge and nice milestone for us, especially because we are switching the locations and going actually to a newer technology park here in Novi Sad. But more about that maybe some other time. Here, we need to focus on today's topic. And you actually started with a great sentence saying that AI is becoming an integral part of our industry, like all of them. So I'm really glad you guys are the speakers here today. And you know what? Next time, I think I will do the introductions, because everyone, when they're talking about themselves, everyone's so modest. So on next time, I will actually do that and say all the facts. And that is that you guys together have more than 50 years of experience in e-commerce, and that you've done numerous projects around the world. And that's actually why I wanted to hear where you're located and where is the audience located, because in e-commerce, that's, normal, but it's great because globally we are all interconnected and actually bring innovation better. So to start with the first topic, I'm going to actually announce the first topic, one of the first trends we will be talking today, and that is actually hyper personalization, intelligent product recommendation. You know, when you feel that Google is listening to you, well, it is, and all other e-commerce websites are as well. And to highlight, I'm definitely sure that companies that are not integrating this into the strategy today are missing out for 100%. So to start with the first question, it will be for you, Vlad. Please, to actually talk to e-commerce leaders who are looking to drive more sales, higher conversion rates. How do you see AI product recommendations actually impacting those outcomes?
Of course. Look, this is a good question, and let me set the scene a bit for, let's say, an e-commerce application. The way I see it is like in a pyramid style, where at the base you have, let's say, the stability of the platform. The platform is always on; it can service the customers. You can have thousands, if not tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people browsing your products, and nothing breaks. So I would say that's like the first layer of this. Now, once you have this layer done and built and stable, you clean up your data, and then with that data you start driving this personalization. And the tip of the pyramid, I would say it's like stage one personalization and stage two personalization. For stage one, with the product recommendations, obviously, this is something that always drives an increase in the average order value. It drives a better customer experience. You discover products easier, products that are of interest to you. And I can see that, let's say, some of the companies are using some manual work to build content slots that show specific products that have sold in the past for specific for a specific time frame, and thinking that that's actually a product recommendation. I would say, like, that's a stage zero, very basic product
Mhm.
recommendation that is manually driven. Now you take the other buying signals. So as a customer browses your website, they are interested in specific categories, specific brands, specific colors. That's how you start building a customer profile. And using that customer profile and these buying signals, let's say, you can then power up proper AI product recommendations. So if somebody is browsing for an iPhone, you should show him iPhone products. If somebody is looking at a Samsung, show him Samsung products, and so on. Now, the tip of the pyramid, I would call it this hyper personalization. So we've got the base, we've got the clean data, we're using the recommendations, the product recommendations for specific customer groups. So the product recommendations also kind of go hand in hand with some customer segmentation. And at the top you have this hyper personalization, which basically I would sum it up in only one word: agent force. And how to do things at the next level, which is natural language interaction with an agent, where you are describing what you need and the agent provides you with information. Now, that agent is as good as the data that feeds it.
That's
And in this
actually
way, by the one-to-one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really glad you mentioned that, and we will touch that topic into more detail later. Basically, with the agent, it's like you're in the store, right? Before e-commerce, we used to go into the store and actually say what we want. Today,
Correct.
in big brand store, they don't even ask you anymore. But if you go to a small boutique, there's a few left. They do ask you, and I'm always surprised. Oh, you actually care about what I want. And it means because you get to talk to someone and you build in the relationships. So with this, we can actually have the relationship online in digital space. And I think it means a lot. But before we continue, I will ask Michael, actually, Michael, what kind of data do we need for all of this to happen?
Okay, so and pretty much any data you can get. Usually you can collect data from various touch points. You collect the data from the browsing history. You collect the data from the purchases in the past, the click-through rates, the customer reviews maybe. So you try to get any data that's available on the customer, even demographic data, external data like locations and things like that. That's what you need. And as Vlad already said, the most important thing is that you have clean data that is correct. So the whole data, so if you take a data science process or an artificial intelligence process, probably 80% of the time of the whole process goes into collecting data, merging data, and cleaning data. So that's the absolute most important part. So we have a saying as a data scientist for artificial intelligence model, and it doesn't matter what kind of model you're talking about. It's garbage in, garbage out. If you feed the data if you feed the model messy data, you probably get, or it's very much likely that you get very messy results. Based on that, then you have different algorithms you can use. Pretty much nothing really new. Most of those algorithms are probably 30, 40 years old. There's some newer development, which is called contextual recommendation, where you, as Vlad said, either use information from the content and provide recommendation based on the content that the user is providing, or you can use external data, like for instance, a user is browsing about like a vacation in the tropics, and the system, the agent in the back, understands what the intent of the user is, and probably would recommend things like bathing suits or, I don't know, flippers or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's it, pretty much in a nutshell.
I think that's the idea behind everything, to personality, to create that connection between human and machine. So whenever you choose any kind of channel, so we are not talking just about e-commerce web shops. If we are talking about only your phone, so if you take any kind of social network or wherever you look, you will get certain prompts, certain products shown to you. So for example, if someone picked up your location for vacation, they will probably give you something for that specific location. So that way, I think if you personalize your entry to any kind of web shop, you can get those customers to actually buy your things. So it's not just browsing for those things and catalogs and products. It's more like, oh, pop, do you need this? Or even when you're finalizing your checkout process and something is trending in your country, they can offer also similar things. So I think that's driving revenue pretty much up. There was some study from Salesforce, I think, and they're mentioning that shops or stores with really good recommendation systems can have up to 25% of their total revenue just by selling through recommendations.
And that's not a small number. That's actually a great number whenever we see that number in results. Actually, Nikola, you pretty much answered the question I had for you, and that is, why is it so important for brands to accept this? Basically, it is about what you said. And before we continue on the next topic, I would love just to touch base on what Michael mentioned, which is garbage in, garbage out. So basically, if we are talking about AI, I think this little phrase will stick with me, because if we are going to implement any kind of these technologies, we have to make sure we have good teams and expert teams, especially for data. So it's actually not that easy. Oh, it's AI, and then they do it by itself. It actually is important who works with it, and I would like to hear that. Here we have someone from the audience saying hi to Michael. We don't see the name. It says LinkedIn user. So Michael, you have an audience. What can I say? International one. And we do have someone tuning in from Romania. So also hello Adrian, hello Romania. So Romania, Switzerland, Austria, Serbia. I actually love it for now. So we are on to continue to our next topic. I mean, all of these topics are connected and they go hand in together with each other. And that is the next trend we're going to talk about: omni-channel strategy and AI together. So to start with Nikola this time, actually, how can businesses use data and AI to create these personalized experience that connect stores, like in brick and mortar stores and online stores as well?
Well, I think Michael summed it up in the previous question. So we want to collect all the dots between the customer and the actual business. So all kind of interactions that we can connect. That's basically that part of omni-channel. So we want to connect different channels, like physical stores, like digital maps. So wherever you look, we want to get that data. And that's the thing. Today's customers don't want to think in terms of channels. They want to think in terms of convenience. So they want to shop without any hassle. They don't want to think about things. And we want to promote, like with predictive analytics, we want to promote those things up front so that we can get them at the right time and at the right place. I mean, so if you're looking at, I don't know, we had one, it was coincidence. I don't know if it's coincidence or not, but I was shouting something to one of my colleagues about Alexa and speakers and sound systems. In terms of 20 minutes, we got, both of us, we got recommendations on Facebook about actual speakers and where to buy them. So I don't know if it's coincidence or not, but it's the real deal.
It is definitely not a coincidence. I would love to hear a success story on this topic from you, Vlad. But before that, I would actually love to ask Michael to explain us how companies can analyze and unify data from various channels to create this cohesive customer experience across all channels.
Of course. So the first, we already know that we need lots of data points per customer. Usually those data points are spread out over different data silos. That's just the fact. That's a historical development. Companies start with one system, and a couple of years later they buy another system. So the data is stored on different systems. So in the first step, you probably need to set up something like a data map where you identify certain types of data, what's the content of the data, and where it is, how you can access it, and then you try to merge the data. Again, the second big problem is most of the time the data in different silos is not mergeable. Like there's one example from the energy market. Usually, I'm working here in Austria with one of the largest energy provider, and he has a gas sector and energy sector, so the electricity sector. And both customers are held in different systems. Both in each and every system, customer has a different customer ID. And so, in my case, my last name is Kollegger, spelled with 2 L's and 2 G's. And so there's a good chance that I might be in one system with the correct name and in the second one with a spelling error. And you have a really tough problem then merging all those things. As soon as you are able to merge data, you have to go through the data. You have to understand what in the data, how is it measured, why are there gaps in the data, why is there a zero in the data, was a zero measured, or was it like an error, why are there empty fields in the data, and so on. And again, if you solve the problem with data cleaning, you go into something that is called feature selection or feature engineering, where you need to measure what you want to measure. Let's one example: customer churn. A customer is deciding to, or actually left the company in the past. So what I want is to measure the customer's behavior in the last 6 months before he left. So I check his purchasing behavior, inbound communication, outbound communication, were there any complaints, returns, and things like that. So in order to get that stuff going, you need to have a lot of domain knowledge. You need to understand how the whole system works. You need to understand the background processes of the company and things like that. So it's not just a lot of math and statistics. It's more about domain knowledge and more about understanding what's going on, more about having an understanding about the processes, and more about understanding what the customer really wants, how the customer behaved in the back, and that's it pretty much. Very short. I would be able to talk about that for hours. So I'm trying to compromise everything into a couple of minutes.
No, actually, this was a great explanation, and thank you, because this is an area where technology and engineers and business have to come together to figure everything out. And then there's a part that you understand from an engineering point of view. Sometimes for the business side, for me, for example, you just migrated the data. How simple? You click the button that says migrate, but it actually doesn't work like that. And there's a lot of behind the scenes happening over there. So this was a great explanation. Thank you. Vlad, maybe you want to continue to add something and maybe give us an example of a success story.
Yeah, of course. I mean, what Michael just said about customer behavior is very important. This should be driving this omni-channel strategy. Now, if you ask 10 different people what is omni-channel, you will have 10 different answers. So it's very hard, let's say, to apply a strategy for all types of business and say like, okay, everybody has to do this. But I'm thinking about some, like in the retail space, you have the endless aisle. You go into a shop, you might not have everything on stock, but you have some tablets where you can see like millions of products if you want. Or clienteling that breaks the barrier between offline and online. And I'm speaking here more about, let's say, more luxury purchasing experiences where you have a personal shopper that can suggest some new clothing lines or stuff like that. So they would be in touch with you over the phone, over some sort of chat, and then they would invite you for a private session. The most common one has to be click and collect, that brings the online and the offline together.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, when you have this type of, when you're starting to offer this type of services, you should also be able to do the returns in the same manner. So I remember I remember I had some issues where I ordered something online and I couldn't actually return it in store because there was a different process for buying in store, returning in store versus buying online, returning online. So now, I always think that when you are improving the customer value, that also drives business value. People will tend to come more towards your brand and use your brand like that. I can also give an example from telcos, so from telecommunications, where you can start some sort of, let's say, offer online, and then you might want to take that offer that you have received, go into the shop, and maybe try out a phone or two before you actually complete. So holding that basket information that you started in the online and taking it into the offline so the in-store assistant can see it and actually help you complete it, that's also some sort of omni-channel strategy that you need to bring together. The AI part, I think this is where again, from Salesforce, the Agentforce product will come in play, and that's actually going to bridge all of the use cases that I've mentioned in a let's say natural language conversation with an AI agent. I'll pause here.
Absolutely. No, it's great. Great answer, Vlad, and thank you. Basically, like you mentioned, I can give an example of Zara having a great omni-channel strategy where actually you can click and collect, return in any store, wherever you bought it from. It actually means a lot. I can definitely say that drives customer satisfaction 100%. And like you said, you wanted to stop there.
I have one interesting example. I mean, I would like to see it in the future how it works, because it's also connecting physical and web shops. So basically, we did maybe some 8 years ago or 9 years ago, we did geofencing. So when you enter the store, we know that you entered because you have your mobile app, and we are detecting where you are going through the store, and basically offering you recommendations or some discounts. But it was not fully personalized, so it was like on the basic level. But I would like to see how that data we can convert and hyper personalize actual digital experience by just you visiting the physical store, running around the shelves, and take that to digital, and also vice versa. So basically, whatever you're doing on your mobile phone or the web app, to translate it to direct offers while you're in the store, so while you're browsing. So that would be interesting thing to see.
Absolutely, Nikola. Actually, this is a great example because it puts everything together. We were talking about omnichannel and predictive analytics. Maybe Vlad, you want to jump in on this one, or Michael, whoever wants to maybe give an opinion about this example. Michael, maybe you can go ahead, and then we'll jump on talking about the third trend, and that is autonomous AI agents.
Okay, now I can start with the autonomous AI agent, which is pretty much the newer thing. Started with the start of the LLMs, the large language models. So I think was it last year or 2 years ago? So time flies by so fast. The key challenge in having a good AI agent lies in the data, but there's some additional things you need to think about. The first one is understanding customer intent. So what's the customer talking about? And it's easy for, let's say, it's easy for someone who speaks his language very good and knows how to write. So it's easy for someone who knows how to ask a question, like I'm looking for a camera, things like that. But most of the time, language is not that easy to understand. It's ambiguous, it can be colloquial, it can be complex. People often don't have German or English as their first language, just if anything. And even though the models are very sophisticated, they still have a problem with unclear language. And what we did in the past, in the last couple of months, so we trained our large language models to understand messy language, to understand language with errors, to understand language that's ambiguous or satirical or things like that. The second thing is, and that's where the customers need to understand, there is not one big AI agent that knows everything and is the jack of all trades. There are, in reality, a bunch of smaller agents that's kind of organized in a pyramid scheme, which means you have a top agent at the back that on the top, and the top agent actually decides based on the user input to which other agent the question is going to be forwarded, because each and every agent has just one role to play. There is not an agent who can handle returns, or there might be one agent that can handle returns, and the second one might be able to answer customer queries about opening hours, and the third one has another idea of what to do. So in reality, the system is quite complex. So we're going to start again. So you have one agent at the top who decides, a meta agent who decides where the information is going to be forwarded to, or to which other agent the message is going to be forwarded to. And that at the back or in the lower level, you have a bunch of different agents. Each and every agent has a separate role, a very specific role, has a separate set of knowledge, and knows how to do a separate set of actions.
This is actually a great explanation. Thank you, Michael. One question that popped into my mind before we continue on to next question, Vlad, I was thinking about asking you next. And my question to you, Michael, is in my, let's say, assumption, all these knowledge is very specific. Everything concerning e-commerce and all of the technologies and expertise you need to actually be in line with all these new trends. So since this is all very specific, I'm assuming big brands and companies have some internal teams, but they're not usually big enough to carry on all of these by themselves. Am I right? This is where we step in.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that's it. It depends on it. Since it's a new, this is quite a new thing, and the bigger brands, as you said, they already have a kind of data team, and so we help most of the time. We help the data team to teach them about artificial intelligence and to do all that stuff. But we do also have or get a lot of requests. We call them the greenfield requests, where people read about artificial intelligence. In the newspaper or in magazines or whatever, to go, I want to do that now. And it's something that we need to do. And we have to start from scratch there. So we find some kind place of application, some problem that we want to solve. We need to find the people that actually can help us in the company. We need to take a look at the infrastructure and the IT infrastructure. How can we place the models and things like that.
Thank you.
Sure.
I got it. Perfect. Maybe now, Vlad, we can hear from you more about Agentforce, which is an autonomous AI agent from Salesforce. So maybe you can explain us how Agentforce leverages AI to enhance customer experience and improve overall satisfaction.
Of course. And look, I wanted to say in terms of maybe education towards this agents. Salesforce has a very good training website called Trailhead. It's free to use, and effectively there's a lot of valuable information there for a lot of business people or even IT people that can, let's say, further their skills into the world of AI. Like start from the basics to even more complex scenarios. Now with Agentforce, I think this is we discuss a bit as the next wave for AI before we have robots and more futuristic examples. So we're just like one step away from that scenario, and I think with Agentforce coming into play, uh, what makes it different from the traditional, let's say, chatbots? I think all of us have been in a chatbot queue where you were going through the decision tree, and at one point you selected the wrong option that basically put you on the wrong path, and you had to start the discussion all over it. So I think what Agentforce brings to the table is natural engagement with the customers, and the reason why it feels natural is the data that feeds the agent can be anything in the Salesforce ecosystem or even beyond. So you understand, the agent understands that Vlad has ordered this particular jacket from this particular store in this particular size. And we have a very beautiful story from Saks. It's on our website, it's public, it's very detailed, I would say. And if I go back to the website and I order something like that, and I speak to the agent, or even I ask the agent, can you give me some recommendations from the spring collection? Then the agent can say, okay, we have this jacket, it's similar in the colors that you bought in the past. We have it in your size, and you can collect it in the store, or if you prefer, we can arrange to send it to you. And effectively what happens through conversation, I'm already building a basket, and the result is that I just get a link, I go to the basket, I pay, and that's it. So this is taking away a bit of the hassle of trying to figure out what to buy, if it's in your size. It's a more personalized approach to discovering things on a specific e-commerce site. And beyond this, so this is before purchase, then post-purchase, the omni-channel strategy, as we were discussing, initiating a return. Like right now, it's the best that some people can offer is going to my account section, finding the order, initiate a return. You get a sticker or whatever, you have to pack it in, and then you ship it off. And the agent can as well help you with this type of returns, again, in a natural conversation. So it's making things a little bit easier. You don't have to look for the orders. You don't have to click something. You just type and that's it. And now you can put this agent on almost any medium of communication. And I'm speaking a lot about agents that are external. There are also internal agents that can help merchandising teams. So for example, if you're running an e-commerce store with thousands and thousands of products, you need to write product descriptions. Now, an agent can do that for you and can help you write product descriptions in bulk based on your product catalog attributes. So this is going to save time. It's going to create a good product description that is attractive to your customers. And guess what? If the description doesn't work, or you need to refresh it in a month's time or 2 months' time, you can do that with very little effort. Again, I'll pause and I'll allow the guys to build upon this.
That's the good thing, and also you have them 24/7, right? So you don't have
Correct.
to care about time zones or anything else. You have them for 24/7, and also they have a lot of data. So there is no searching for your order to answer something. There is no annoying bots on the website anymore. So you're getting, like, as I mentioned, like human to machine and machine to human interaction is in normal human language. But also there is a thing that it's scaling more efficiently, if I may say. So you don't need to employ, I don't know, 50 guys for any sales event. If there is a big fashion sales event, some major fashion sale event, you will probably get answers about the store availabilities, any kind of returns and things like that. And that can be a tremendous job to do with human-powered bots.
Yeah, Nikola, thank you for actually adding these other challenges that Agentforce can actually come in and help out with. Maybe just one quick question before we jump into the next topic and the fourth trend we need to talk about. And that is a question for Vlad, even though you stopped, which is really funny a bit and great. Thank you. You know how a hosting job is not easy. Basically,
No.
my question is just to ask you to explain us how is Agentforce different from traditional chatbots?
Yeah, so I would say the fact of how we are processing the data from multiple sources with the existence of a trust layer that kind of understands what's happening and is making sure that the output of the agent is not something that would contain mature language or hallucinations, as we are calling. So for people that are not aware of what hallucinations are, is basically an AI agent that draws some bad conclusions from an existing data set that is not in accordance with reality. So as I mentioned, like this is beyond a simple chatbot where you have like some sort of decision tree and predetermined responses. This is an agent that is understanding your situation, your personal situation, based on the multiple data sources that you are feeding into the agent, which in return obviously gives a highly personalized experience.
Got it. Thank you, Vlad, for this great explanation. To let everyone know, we are great with timing. I'm actually really proud of all of us. Great information in good timing. It's a dream come true for marketers. So thank you. I just want to actually announce that the last few minutes will be for questions and answer section. So Q&A section at the end. So we've already got a question for the audience, but we will leave it for the end. And then if there's anything else, you guys can keep writing now, and maybe if you heard something from the specific talk, go ahead and ask now, or maybe it's something you prepared before the event. And since we're on time, I'm really happy. Can't express how happy I am about that. We will continue with our topic number 4, which is predictive analytics for customer behavior. it keeps flashing like this. Thank you, StreamYard, for listening to me. But basically, this is also an important part of all of these trends we mentioned. Everything kind of blends in together to enhance the customer experience. Whether we want it or not, we do live in the age of consumerism, where a consumer is number one, and we have to accept that, since we are in e-commerce especially. So for this topic, I would love to start with one of the questions for Michael. How can this predictive analytics influence decision making within companies? And it is already able to predict non just behavior, but customer intent. That's what we want to know.
Okay, yeah. So predictive analytics has been around the block for quite a while. So it was pretty much the first application of artificial intelligence that came on the market and that companies used. So predictive analytics heavily actually influences decision making in companies nowadays. Let's try to figure out an example. Let's say operational efficiency would be something that artificial intelligence or predictive analytics helps a lot. So by predicting the demand much better than you were able before, you would have better inventory management, things like that, or marketing. If you have a marketing message, before predictive analytics, you send out the marketing message to each and every of your customers, the same message. Nowadays, you can send a very specific message to a specific person via a very specific channel. You can predict customer behavior based on the prediction of the customer behavior. You can actually decide what you want to do with the customer, what kind of information you wanna play out to the customer. You have likelihoods of purchases. You have the churn rate, which means predictive analytics allows you to determine exactly when is a customer on the brink of churning, of leaving the customer, and you can act proactively towards that data. And as you said, if you scan like social media, if you scan the inbound communication with the customer, you nowadays are able to understand the sentiment of the customer. Is it like in goodwill with us, or is there something wrong, or is it really fed up? That's all working nowadays fully automatically, and that helps massively. The data we get from predictive analytics helps us to actually work with the customers much more easier and much better than before.
Great explanation. Thank you, Michael. Maybe Nikola, you can also jump in and explain to us how can this predictive analytics for customer behavior can help with faster customer service or better delivery, which is actually going, a bit outside of e-commerce, but like we put it already, we have to, I guess.
It's hand to hand with e-commerce. Well, traditionally businesses have relied on reactive approach, so basically waiting for a customer to ask a question or make a request. But currently, with this AI and all this upfront approach to pop something everywhere for everyone, so we are trying to get them to basically lure them to our website and to purchase actual products. And for the delivery system, I would say even warehouses have optimizing of routes. So picking the things from the shelves is actually optimized with AI. Also, as Michael mentioned, there is optimization and predictive analytics can predict, for example, when you have a route for delivery, if it's a peak time, it's a rush hour after working office hours. I think that part can be predicted and evaded. That's more fuel efficient, and delivery can be on time that way. Mm-hmm. So I would say it's not just e-commerce business. So it's through all the industries. It's spread actually. So basically, that predictive part can be really good with the delivery and logistics. More as I think same as for e-commerce businesses.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And to finish up with this trend number 4, which is predictive analytics for customer behavior, I want to ask Vlad, how actually does Salesforce use AI and predictive analytics to help businesses anticipate this customer behavior? Is this something specific for Salesforce as a platform?
Yes, of course, and obviously we can have this type of predictive analytics kind of in all of the products, and we're trying to bring as many futures to our customers. To take one example from the service agents, for example, if a customer has an issue and they are contacting the call center, then the agent would have, let's say, a little window with an actual next best action for that particular use case. So the internal, I would say, the internal agent would understand the context, what is the customer asking for, and then it would advise the customer agent on what should the answer be in this scenario. Or in a sales scenario, if you've been engaging with a specific lead for quite some time and you need to take up the relationship, take up the engagement, and so on. And as well, you would have some recommendations on what to do next. You have a reminder that you can do X, Y, and Z to maximize the customer engagement. So this is like sales and service, and there are other use cases like in Marketing Cloud where it basically tailors automated journeys based on this predicted customer behavior and preferences. Like, what would you like to send to a person that is checking, like that bought an iPhone last year? Maybe the next iPhone that is coming up this year. Maybe they want an upgrade. So there are lots of benefits of predictive analytics, and adopting and implementing this. It's, I would say, for some businesses, it's a bit. Let's say, out of the comfort zone, because they would need to validate that yes, this is a good prediction, and yes, let's do it, and so on. So I think this is where Salesforce and Power with Agentforce, this is where we bring the value, that we have a lot of experience, we understand the data, we understand the customer profiles, and we will give you the best output for that.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Nikola, please.
I wanted to say it still needs human validation. So whatever you get from the Agentforce, for example,
Correct.
so it still requires human validation. Even if you're using Agentforce for sales processes, you want to get customer with the actual sales rep on the call. So that's the idea behind everything.
Yeah, correct. And this is exactly what we have in the SACS video, where a person is engaging with an agent or their address, and effectively the agent is replying with various information. Although before that information is sent to them, it pops up into a customer agent, a real life human that says, okay, this answer is perfect, let's send it, and that's it. And basically it increases the productivity of a customer agent, and let's say it turns a junior customer agent into a professional, because they will have all of this knowledge, all of these responses at their fingertips.
So it's training both for human and for machine at the same time.
Correct.
That's a great example. Thank you, Vlad, for mentioning. And I just posted a link to the main chat. Everyone can see it on the screen. So if anyone wants more details about this customer story, just click on the link and definitely check it out. So we've come to trend number 5, our last topic for today, and that is post-purchase experience revolution, which has been happening for quite some time. And it actually sums up everything we've talked about today. Just to conclude a little bit, we talked about these trends as separate things, but they actually all interconnect and form a unique customer experience brands will need to accept sooner rather than later. So we do have an interesting question, and I will ask it at the end, and that is at what rate brands will be accepting this, but keep it for the end. We do have 5 more minutes to talk about post-purchase revolution. So maybe, Michael, from your side, side, from the AI side, how can AI improve this efficiency of post-purchase customer support, handling all the operations that come with it?
Of course, there's so many different topics in post-purchase revolution. So we probably going to be able to touch a couple of them. So the first one is shipping. So nowadays, shipping is the big thing, and the companies try to get the products out to you as fast as possible. And we already heard today, route optimization is something where artificial intelligence is going to help us tremendously. The most important thing, route optimization, actually was developed during the Second World War. So it's over 80 years old, and nowadays it's called artificial intelligence, and we hear it's the next big thing. But in reality, it's very old, very traditional, and it's working fantastically. You can use the same algorithm or very similar algorithms to figure out where you're going to place your interim storage facilities. So there's one, like Amazon has just placed one interim storage facility close to the place where I live, and suddenly delivery times got cut by in half. So I order something in the evening, and I will have it on my doorstep actually in the next day around noon. You have at the shipping, you have things like real-time tracking where you can actually see where your package is. It gives you an estimated time of arrival, so you can actually figure out, do I need to be at home, or who can pick it up at 3 o'clock when the package arrives. Another topic is returns, a necessary evil in e-commerce. We usually know people are buying 3 pair of pants at the same time, then they're going to try it on to keep the one that fits and set the other 2 back. Companies are investing a lot of money on artificial intelligence, helping them to streamline the return process. There are things like bots out there that help you suggest the correct based on the product you bought in the past and did not return. The bot is able to figure out what kind of size you are and what kind of pair of jeans will fit better. So again, another bot would be I think Vlad mentioned it, where you just call in, say you want to return stuff, and the bot is helping you on the return, and at the end of the day is printing out the return label for you, and you don't need to call to some place or go over websites and fill in hundreds of data points to get the returns. Okay, so then we have other things like customer support. So everywhere where time is to be saved and time of agents is of human agents should be freed up. Bots can help, like opening hours, contact information, things like that can also easily be streamlined with bots, and actually are streamlined right now with bots.
But also engage. Sorry. Continue.
Go ahead. No, I'm done. Go ahead.
I would say the maybe most important part is continuing engagement. So you want to keep them engaged to come back. So I suppose that's upselling, and that part is most valuable to the shopper. So you can get tips on things that you purchased or some cross-sell recommendations. So if you're buying a camera, you can get some kind of lenses, or if they know where you're going to vacation, maybe some mosquito thing to protect you. So I think that engagement part also drives back customers and bring back that loyalty thing that we mentioned at the beginning. So this brand or store actually knows me, so let's get back to that store again. So let's purchase there.
Absolutely. If you feel that you're understood, you want to go back there. So to conclude with this trend number 5, which is the post-purchase experience, I will ask Nikola, you to tell me also, Vlad, to tell me one thing customers do expect in 2025 from brands.
To like them.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely an option, a good one.
Yeah, I think for me the easy answer is to understand them, understand their needs, and it's very hard because their needs change drastically every year. Like look at some of the big guys, like how Amazon impacted the way we are transactioning things. So I used to live in the UK, and I had an Amazon fulfillment center right next to the city. So if I would order something in the morning, it would be in by the afternoon. So I think I got a bit spoiled by this type of, let's say, high level of service. So now, because of this, everybody is expecting similar services from everyone. So the loyalty piece is very important. Loyalty is like a very thin piece. You can have 10 great interactions, but if you have one bad interaction, that will ruin everything you've built on, and then you will be, let's say, missing on a customer. It can go somewhere else. I also have seen companies that, let's say, they don't use a lot of marketing automation, personalization, what we've been discussing, and they just bombard me with stuff that I really don't need to buy stuff. Like one simple example is I keep getting a newsletter with kids' toys for toddlers, like 2 or 3 years old. My kids are already big; they're in school, but I keep getting almost the same product recommendations. And I did use this website, but it was when they were 2 and 3. They're no longer 2 and 3. So this type of like personalization, get it right, know me, know my context. Uh, I think this is very important to kind of like secure even those little loyalty points so that you have a returning customer.
We had one project where we had to tackle a specific problem with recommendations. So shop was running in Sweden, and it's still running in Sweden and in Spain. And it was cold winter in Sweden, so everybody bought jackets. And you get the same recommendation in Spain, where usually you don't need jackets at that rate or that manner.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm glad, Nikola, you mentioned that example. And like you, Vlad, if I may conclude, customers will definitely expect understanding because they want convenience. And they don't ask for the price. So I would say convenience is number one, and number two is no forgiveness. So if you do make a mistake and do not invest in the relationship with a customer, they're actually easy to go to somewhere else because that loyalty, sure, it exists, but it is decreasing with this level of convenience. So if you agree with me, we can all nod. So we are kind of concluding this event with something. And since we are on time, we do have still a couple of more minutes for the question and answer section. So I will show the comment on the screen. A great discussion. Thank you, Elisaveta, my colleague, but I'm pretty sure you were honest. So we are wondering, at what rate do we see brands accepting these AI-driven trends? Who wants to answer?
I can be first, and I can say that like we have a state of e-commerce report. We are surveying a lot of companies, asking like what's top of mind. Obviously, adoption of AI is at the top of the priority, but then when you deep dive into how are they going to adopt AI, actually, I think it was like a third of companies have a proper AI strategy. And then if you're looking at how are you going to drive this AI strategy, it's the answer is not always data, which I think is wrong. And again, it's like it starts with data, and then you build upon it a solid foundation for all of the agents that you plan to have in your world, let's say.
But it's competitive market, so what we have saw in the future is that whenever someone is changing, if you are looking at retail, when someone is changing something in their layout and it works, someone else also wants to have it. That's it. So it's competitive market, and when one big retail store implements something, others will follow. So that's how it works.
And realistically, adopting AI, even if it might be an effort on the short term, has huge gains on the long term. So companies that would traditionally not have a huge market share, and they're fighting for that market share. The faster they adopt AI, the faster they will see the results competing against, let's say, more established
Yeah.
brands in the same market. So use that agility, I would say.
Absolutely. Be fast. Michael, would you agree?
Yes, I have a little different approach. Like we can see it everywhere that people are interested in artificial intelligence, but it's kind of hard to get your foot into the door and to start with artificial intelligence because people do have a very limited idea of what AI is all about, what is needed, and things like that. And most of the people say, okay, I want to have the same thing as Amazon has, or I want to have the same thing as the competitor has, and then are surprised how much effort in terms of data, in terms of people, in terms of money is needed to get the whole thing started. So
Maybe
that's what we're
education.
seeing right now. Yes.
So maybe education is the first step, and
Yes,
then after
yes,
it
yes,
comes naturally to adapt
yes,
actual technology,
exactly,
maybe
yes.
to
So I
educate.
always say, as a data scientist, when I come to the customers, I always say, okay, I do say that I'm able to predict customer behavior, but I'm not right now at that moment. I'm not able to predict if artificial intelligence is something for you and will work for you in the future, because I have absolutely no idea about the data. I have no idea about the problems you have. I have no idea about your IT structure, and I have absolutely no idea about your level of knowledge.
Mhm.
And that's what so we start with the proof of concept, or like I said, the education part and other things.
It's great you mentioned this because yes, education is number one, and that's kind of where we here as well. To add, brands do have to know what game are they playing. Are they in the game with big brands or a medium-sized market? Smaller brands act completely differently, so that's definitely the case. So these are great answers. I'm pretty sure our audience will be happy with that. And here's the second question as well. Basically, if we do have a brand willing to start with any with the implementation of any of these examples we were talking about today, what would be the first step? Education, but definitely we can have Vlad or whoever wants to start.
Look, I would say so. I've shared with you, Teodora, the trailheads.
Mhm. I'll share it.
Trailhead. So this is like some self-study that you can do in your own time. So first step is do a bit of self-study, check out some stories from your competition, why not, or from some other markets. Check what they are doing, how they're doing it, with which technologies they're using. Obviously, go to Salesforce and search for the customer stories. You'll find more of the ones that are coming from SaaS. And once you feel like you're ready for a conversation, just reach out to Salesforce, reach out to Evol.X, reach out to BeeIT, and together we can do some sort of workshop where we can uncover the current state and where your ambitions are. Like, we're here and we want to go here. This is how we can do it, and we can advise you on that.
I think the steps, what is needed to actually convert your actual data, whatever you have, CRMs or ERPs. So what is needed to go with AI, how to normalize that data to be used by AI. I think that's the first step that you need to show to your customer, because I think they don't have idea, really, any kind of.
Okay.
And,
Sorry about that. The questions are asked from the wrong direction. Usually it's, and that's what we hear each and every day, how can AI help us? And that's not the right question. The real question should be, I have problem A, B, and C, and can AI help us solve our problems?
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's great, actually. Thank you, Michael, for pointing out that perspective. But basically, it's all about analyzing where we are with the business and what we want to achieve and where we want to be. Also, Vlad mentioned that there's a website, and of course Salesforce website, and the link where everyone can study a little bit by themselves and check some examples. It's also for BeeIT, feel free to visit our website and check our case studies, as well as Evol.X website and the projects. There you can see a little bit more details about what we've done so far. And there's also one more question. Are you guys okay? It's then 2 more minutes, and then we will be done for the day. The question is this one. If we could put all these trends and ideas into an implementation roadmap for a certain e-com business, how would you rank them? What should business focus on first, and why?
I think this is going back to what Michael said right now. What are the problems that we're solving? So like, let's start with pain points. And realistically, like for any e-commerce project that I go into, I always chase the business value. So if you are going to do a transformation for your service center, what's the business value? Like, what are we going to solve with this? What's the end result of this? If you're looking at e-commerce, you're looking to, I don't know, increase average order value. This is added business value. So we start from business values, and then we kind of like look back, like make our way back. What do we need to create this business value? We don't have to adopt a specific tool because your competitor is using it. Maybe they have a specific problem that you don't have. You're creating more complex scenarios that actually don't bring anything to you as a business.
Yeah, the thing is, if you want to drive your revenue up, for example, if that's the main goal, usually it is, but if that's the only and main goal and you don't have any kind of problem with your e-commerce, you want hyper personalization. So you want to do that. And if you want to do that, you want to have clean data. And then you go back, prepare the data. Where is my data? What do I have? And then you can actually implement that complete AI change.
Nothing to be added from my side. Both gentlemen summed it up perfectly.
Okay, well, what you just said is a great sum up for this whole event. The gentlemen have summed it up perfectly. So thank you, gentlemen, for being my very dear guests at this event. Customer Experience Talks by BeeIT and Evol.X. We've come to the end of this event. So I'll just take a minute to thank you, guests, again, and thank to our audience who was following us the whole event, which is actually pretty great feeling for us being here for this past hour. If you are by any chance in Vienna this April, make sure you meet Evol.X at IT Leader Club at the beginning of April 9th. So you can definitely contact them for that. And then if you're in Serbia, in Novi Sad, by any chance, definitely contact BeeIT. We will be happy to meet you. And before that, feel free to visit our websites. And Vlad, if I'm right, if they're in Spain, they can let you know, right? We're here on LinkedIn.
Of course.
So
Reach out.
message Vlad, and be free to reach out. These events are here for education and to make sure we are on the same page, communicating about important changes and trends in e-commerce space. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we will see you sometime soon. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.